There are things to chuckle about tonight, folks. Welcome, friends and neighbors. This is RGR Football. He's Dan. I'm Ryan. We're going this way and that way. Chiefs got to win. I know you guys aren't that jazzed about it, but I am. We're going to talk about why. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to get into what the breaking news is because people are texting me while I'm trying to work here. I hope that you guys are ready for it. We certainly are. Welcome to RGR Football. Cryptic texts by people are starting to frustrate me. Welcome. Daniel Harms is his name. Reviewing the film for you guys is his game. How are you, Dan?
I am still recovering. It won't come
like
back. It will not come back. I have like this raspiness into the voice, but just kind of keep talking. I have to talk even deeper to keep it like so you can actually understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So that makes everyone even more monotone than usual. So I apologize.
I like it though. Did you have a good time at least?
Yeah, man. I didn't go to the game.
Oh, that's a good point. Did you have a good? I kept thinking you had, like you were in the weather. Stevie,
no, this was just my sister. My daughter gave me something. Like she brought it to the house, and then she was like, "I'm done being sick." And then here, you can have this 5-day cold stuff that goes from your head to your eyes to your nose to your mouth, your throat, your chest, and now mine's just like stuck. It's gone, but it's like saying bye really long. So
the mini human immune system is the thing to behold, people. We have a lot to go over as well, and hopefully that immune system will help us out. Stevie Keys, thank you very much. Folks, if you want to support the channel, Stevie showed you how to do it. Those super chats come through and they help us pick you out. This is your show tonight. This is Q&A. We're going to try to keep the answers tight because I know there's going to be a ton of them. We're going to get into all kinds of different aspects of what you thought of this game, what you want to know about. So please, if you are new, make sure you put question marks at the beginning of your question. It'll help me find them. I'm terrible about it. And our fearless moderator, Aaron, is in the house, but he can't make me see everything. So give him a break. Throw those question marks out. Support is always appreciated through the super chats, or check out the RGR store. Get yourself some gear to wear, like I did for Taos Brewing. Welcome, Taos, as well as, Aloha Brewing as well.
All about the brewing.
I am. I actually made a Kolsch for the first time in a year. I make a Kolsch for every Thanksgiving. And so I got that done on Saturday there while I was trying to do everything else, watch college games, take notes, and do all the dad things. It's been a little hectic lately, but there's plenty to go over. Plenty. I see a lot of regulars in here. I'm glad you guys are here. For you members, you get all that stuff. Remember, when you sign up and you're in the rookie level or above, and I just want to say there's been a lot of folks signing up lately, and I just want to throw this out. If you want in the Discord, that is our private community of just the RGR members, you got to email me at this email address right down here. That's so I can get you invited. You don't have to do that to be a member. You can be a member, but if you want in the Discord, you gotta email me so I can get you the invite. So that said, Stevie started us off. That wasn't really a question, though, that Stevie had, so I'm just going to go, whoop. Well, if it will scroll, that would be great, but it doesn't look like it wants to now, so I'm going to have to change that and go to something else. Okay, there we go. We're back. And we will get started. The first question from Seth. Thank you, Seth. What are your thoughts on Ingram and how well the D-line performed? And you couldn't have set me up better for what I
was about to say. That puts him right into what he wants to talk about.
Well, let's start with you, though. What was your impression?
Ingram's got juice, guys. Like the very first third down in the game, he took the tackle and put him in Jordan Love's lap. He was just like, here, have this tackle. And he would just put him in his lap. That's what they have not had on consistent pass rush situations. Even Chris Jones wasn't able to do that consistently. And Ingram comes in and just says, hey, here, have this guy. Ingram, 29 snaps, way more than we thought yesterday. 29. That tells you they're pretty comfortable with how he's projecting to play, and that they might ramp him up even more. He might see about 50% of the snaps from here on out. So I think the D-line played pretty well.
I agree with you, and I'm glad that you put it out there because that's a healthy load for a guy who just got in and was complaining and not playing enough in Pittsburgh. That's why he's here, folks.
He's going to play here.
And I think what I said last night still holds today after I reviewed a little bit more on my lunch break. I do work for a living, so I still have a day job, folks. So everything happens on my lunch. But for me, it stood out that it's just he doesn't have to be all world. He has to be competent and be at the level that I saw him last night is enough to balance that defensive front and let them all play better. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. And I know a lot of you guys were real heavy on Frank Clark while he was not playing well. And a lot of folks seem to think that he's all world now that he's back. Neither of those things are true. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why. And I'll even give you a pretty picture because I ran the numbers today. This is what it comes down to me because sometimes my impression will lie to me. And I don't like that. In fact, I get pretty frustrated when it does. So this is what I broke down. And these are the front four. Your starting front four in terms of not total snaps. This is pass rush snaps. So on those plays where they were rushing the passer, and this is what they produced. 7 pressures for Jones. Clark and Ingram both put in 4. That seems like an even performance, right? And Reed followed up with 1. It seems about right. I'd like a little bit more from Reed, but that's about what I expect, right? But here's the difference. And Seth, thank you for setting me up on this question. The difference is Ingram did it in almost half of the snaps that Frank Clark did. And that's significant. Now, I saw Frank flip-flopping. I'll have to pull the actual snap counts, but I think Frank was mostly on the right-hand side of the defense against the left tackle. So there's definitely something that you can say, hey, this isn't quite, an even matchup. And that's a fair recognition. I'm just saying in like 55% of the snaps, Ingram off the street produced as much pressure. That's a big deal to me.
Yes, and I'll also point out that he played 29 snaps, so that means only 8 of them came against the run, where Clark played probably most of the game. And I think you can also you can tell that Clark is playing a full-time position and Ingram wasn't, and he was basically out there to be a pass rush guy. So I would like to see that number be there for a pass rush specialist. So that's perfect.
Yeah. On the night, Frank ended up playing 27 snaps on the right-hand side and 27 snaps on the left-hand side.
All right. All right.
There you go. The difference here being, and this won't always play true, quite frankly, both of these guys in Ingram and Jones putting up anywhere close to a 20% pressure rate, that's a good night out. That's a good ball game for anybody. So I doubt that it sustains that. But here's what it is Ingram is older. He is more injury prone, although Frank hasn't been very injury free this season. But this tells you that you can expect to get similar pressure on a whole throughout a ball game in playing Ingram in the role that it looks like they're starting him in, where Dana is the first down guy, maybe the second down guy, and Ingram comes in for the pass rush specifically. And I think that is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, when you can rotate Dana and Okafor in that run down and then maybe give a breath to Clark every once in a while with one of those guys, and then you bring in Ingram on a pass rush situation. That's what they envisioned with Chris Jones at defensive end. It just never materialized because Chris is a defensive tackle. And I will gladly take your concession on that point earlier from the season when you said that they would go back, that he'd be fine. Said he should move back to defensive tackle, and here we are. So I'm going to take it, and I'll leave it.
Dan's going to rub that one in, folks. And I will not concede. I never concede. So I'll just tell you, you have a very good point. And I will say that the reason Chris stayed out there was because of necessity. Having Melvin Ingram is enough talent that you don't need that at all anymore. So will they still rotate? I'll bet you Chris Jones will still play at end a little bit. 10% maybe?
Probably just as much as he played last season, because he did play a little bit last season. So yeah.
Exactly. But it is by far not the focus. So I think at the end, when we talk about the front, I think the front is much better off for it. Interesting question, Christo. They're not going to do anything.
Nope.
I don't see them bringing in Swearinger. I don't see them moving away from Dan. I don't think he played, but 20 snaps last night, if I remember correctly.
The 24, I think, yeah.
That's about what I expect. Was it 24? Okay.
Something like that.
He actually did. He proved us right again, because Chris had 7 pressures, Melvin and Frank had 4 pressures each, right? Sorensen had 4 pressures as well. They just had to blitz 50% of the snaps to get him.
That's exactly what they have to do.
Exactly. Neiman had 3. So Neiman and Sorensen blitzing, attacking the passer, that works. That's what he can still do. He just can't cover. It is about the usage, not the fact that you don't want him on the field at all. And so I think that, Christo, is just means even more for Spags that he doesn't have to move away from Dan completely. It just won't be playing time. Josh, welcome back, folks. Make sure you check out Josh Fan's site as well. He's got a channel on here and does some good work. I think it's still called Missouri. I'm not sure. You should include Kansas because I like Kansas. So just want to say that, Josh. Do you think Chris Jones being back inside can help Jaron Reed now? They will not be expected to be the guy in the middle. I think so. And quite frankly, I think it's going to draw doubles. If you have Chris and Jaron in there, they're going to double Chris. I mean, they have to. He splits them so easily as it already is. You try to single him up, it's a death sentence. So I think what has to happen now is that Jaron has to work on his hands. I don't see a problem with his first step. I don't see him attacking shoulders, and I don't see him getting sideways in the hole for fear of getting turned out of a run. But he's got to attack the gaps and attack the shoulders of those guards in particular.
Yeah, I feel like he's also seen a lot of doubles this season too because they've moved. He's been the main guy on the inside. Now that will hopefully take some off that. He can start to attack some shoulders and move some guys out of his way. And that's going to also help Nadi because Nadi was a force yesterday too. He didn't see as many double teams. Chris Jones takes so much attention away from the defensive guys that you want in there. And it's so much better for everybody on defense. And so it's going to be nice to see Reed hopefully take advantage of some of these one-on-ones.
I agree. Nadi had a pressure as well, and according to PFF, graded out higher than Frank Clark. So let's keep Nadi in mind, folks.
Yeah, Nadi's been great.
Keys, thank you as always, my friend. Maybe Rex Ryan saw my super chat last night. Today he seemed to question who was calling the plays on the offense. Yeah, I mean, it's legitimate to question that at times.
Happens every year, guys. This happens every year.
Rex is a stick in the mud too, so you know he'll get there late. It's okay.
And this is something that national media is going to do. They're going to look for every little thing that they can to say what's wrong. This is something that they can see is wrong without ever having to say they're right or wrong because they'll never find out. So they can just say what they want to, and they'll never know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Gore means more MOAR carries. I agree with you. It looks like they're doing a platoon in 2 drives to 1 is what it looked like to me last night. I think they got to mix it up a little bit more evenly. And you guys know I love Darryl, but yeah, I think Gore has earned more playing time. Yeah. Am I crazy or should we have a top tier D line with these 4? What do you think?
I mean, before the season started, I thought they did without them, but at this point, I'm going to say not top tier. No, because if I've learned anything this season, I got to see it before I can just assume it's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, Darryl, great question, and we appreciate the super chat. Thank you, and thank you, Stevie. You have Spags on the podium, man.
Here's a great question.
2 questions, or 1 each, so we can get through this. What are you asking?
I'm asking him, do you give Brett Veach opinions on players that you want to draft? That's all I want to know. I don't care about – that's all I want to know. Because one thing – if he's just asking for defensive ends that have no bend and no athleticism and just power, and that's it, then okay. I know that it's just you. But if you want some of these guys and they're saying no, you're going to get these guys, then okay. Then I have a little bit more credence to giving you a little bit more leash. But if he's just out there saying no, I don't want athletes. I just want these big guys playing linebacker, playing defensive end. Then I'm out.
Okay. My only question would be, Steve, can you disguise your coverages and your shells without making either a nickel corner drop to a high safety or pull all your guys down within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage and try to get someone to scream to the back? Because you're setting yourself up for failure. And then he threw me out of the press conference. It's Cole, thoughts on signing OBJ? They're definitely not going to claim him because they can't afford it. If he does get loose, I could see them kicking the tires. I personally don't think it would work out in this locker room. That's a lot of attitude there. And clearly not enough balls to go around with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And I think he'll end up unhappy and a distraction. But what do you think, Dan? So
I've heard a little bit that he is freelancing. He was freelancing too much in Cleveland on plays. And all the plays that you're seeing his dad show of him being wide open is him just freelancing. And Baker's like, I don't know where you are because you're not where you're supposed to be. So I'm not going to look at you. That's basically what was happening. Is the assumption of what was happening in Cleveland. And yeah, players have some wiggle room to do that here. But how many times do we see Mahomes hold the safety, look on this side, and come immediately back and throw to the other side without even like prepping anything because it's all based on timing. If he does that
Right.
with Odell Beckham and he's in the wrong spot, that's going to be picked off again. You think he's going to be happy about that? So yeah,
Where'd who go?
yeah, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm kind of that same mind. If it does, it will surprise me a little bit, but I won't be shocked because they do feel like they signed Josh. They're not using him. I don't know that he's earned enough of their confidence for them to be pushing it. That's the only explanation I can have on
I'll
Josh.
say I'll say one more thing about Odell. I could see him being a little bit more apt to try here because it's not a run first team, and I feel like some of that in Cleveland is something he didn't really like. And again, if you're going to use if they made it work and had him be the Z and Tyreek be the slot, I think you can make that work. But
I
again,
think you may be right.
it's all about him cooperating. If you can get a cooperative Odell Beckham Jr., then yes, I think it can work. But that's a roll of the dice. You don't really know what you're getting.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Colin, I agree with you. I think you do need to sign Tyreek Hill. It'll be his last contract. I think it gets done as well. Thank you for this super chat. We appreciate it. Defense is on fire. I think Ingram was everything we needed for them. Offense has a lot of work to do. Why did they ever from the run game and throwing to the midfield? I don't know. This is Andy and Patrick fighting their natural tendencies. That's what it all comes down to for me.
So I know Darryl got 21 carries yesterday, but let's think about the situational carries that he got. Some really, really bad goal line carries where they just said, here, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. And then he didn't get anything with them. Some terrible 3rd and 1 carries where they said, we're going to bring everyone in. We're going to run the ball. You're going to know we're going to run the ball. Also, 2nd and down, 2nd and 10, 2nd and long carries. There were a lot of really, really bad situational runs that Andy Reid basically said, we're going to run the ball. And we don't care that you know that. And that's a problem. So
yeah, it is for Darryl.
Yes,
because he doesn't have that instant acceleration.
He needs a little bit of time. He needs you to buy him some time because he's not going to be able to do everything that he needs to do to get going. So they need to be better at situational running the football. On first downs, they were excellent at running the ball. Like excellent. And then they just said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody feels that they're predictable running on first down, so you got to change it up, but you got to do it a little bit too. You can't completely go away from it either because then they know not to expect it. So it's about balance in the force. I'm just coming back to that. Alan, no, it is not too high of an expectation. Patrick Mahomes has proved that he can do it. Now the expectation that he repeats doing it. That is not far-fetched. This is the same concept that you get with Steve Young and Dan Marino and Tom Brady. He is of that caliber, and that expectation is perfectly legitimate in my mind.
Yep.
Holly, I hope that you're feeling better. I'm seeing some pass rush questions. Guys, I'm going to try to skip the ones that are like similar to something we've already answered, so we're not repeating for everybody. How did you feel about Wiley, dude?
Oh, Wiley's bad.
Okay, that was succinct.
It's just what he is, man. I'm sorry. I can't stand saying to play tackle. I can't.
I like him at guard better myself. All Bono, can anyone else play slot? Snead looks best on the outside.
Oh,
I mean, Fenton can play slot.
Fenton, man, Matthew had some grips on Adams a few times. He got him in slot. Like I know that he got that pass completed. He was right there. He's right there. So you got a couple guys that can, but they're moving Snead around because they feel it's best to get him in both spots. And I think having him play mostly outside, you saw yesterday, he was getting more comfortable. And ideally, that's what you need. But when you're moving around too much, you're not going to get that comfort.
It is about like a rhythm in a position as well. And you guys, you're going to see me emphasize the nickel corner class in this upcoming draft because there's a good group of them. And I'd like to see L'Jarius move back outside. Take this one. Can Pringle take Hardman snaps, man?
So here's how I feel about this. The Chiefs wide receivers do get open. Okay. I think we've seen that more than enough times. Hardman gets open too. Pringle, for some reason, doesn't get many targets, like at all. And he's open too. For me, there's a trust factor. There's a level of trust factor, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's Mahomes' ability to want to get the ball there. I believe the best options at wide receiver, if they're going to play their 11 personnel, Josh Gordon, Byron Pringle, Tyreek Hill. should be the majority of the snaps. You work in Hardman every once in a while to get him on some quick game, which you're already doing. And since you're already relegating Demarcus Robinson to essentially being a blocking wide receiver anyway, what's he doing on the field most of the time? But just Byron Pringle, get some plays drawn up for him. Otherwise, teams don't care. That's what they're doing. They don't care when you bring out Pringle, Hardman, Robinson, Gordon. They just don't care.
And that's the problem. You got to make them respect.
That's
what it comes down to. Bradley, the sloppy offense. I think something's going on with Patrick physically. Although what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the last drive. I think like he's starting to feel it click somewhere. He looked a little bit more like himself on the last drive the other night. I'm going to check that and just verify that that's my initial impression. I don't know if that's true. The O-line, I see a lot of you asking about the O-line. O-line played well. Orlando was all right. Gave up a pressure, I believe it was. Trey gave up 2, and that was it. And obviously they didn't get sacked. Yeah. So I'll take that as a victory every time. That is what plays into Orlando did give up 1. But the entire offensive line outside of Trey Smith and Wiley, when he came in, graded in the 80s for PFF. That's pretty good. Now, again, that's just a grade, but it's a general sign that it's starting to come together. I won't say that Orlando's all the way there, but this looked more like what I expected him to get to in about week 6 or 7, where he's getting comfortable in more of the pass vertical setting that he has to do.
It's just taking some time.
Yeah. Real quick, Lego. Will Parks is off the roster. They cut him. Mike Hughes has been buried behind Rashad Fenton because Fenton's been playing better. Saunders was injured last week and was only partial at practice. I think Saunders will be back this week.
Let's hope so.
There will be no positive Frank talk. Thank you, Gooch. Thanks for keeping us on track, buddy.
Can't even say he's playing better.
Christo, CEH will be back. I don't think he's the missing link, but I think he does bring something a little bit different than the other guys. He's quicker out of the hole. He changes direction better. Let's see if they can get him in a rhythm when he gets back.
Yeah.
Mike Daniel, thank you very much. Dan, what do you think of this one?
All right, thanks for the question, Mike. Positives, D-line was good. Cornerbacks played good. OBJ is getting better. Yeah, Sorensen is as competent as Tom trying to catch Jerry. You're not wrong. And the Chiefs were actually doing a pretty good job of making it so Sorensen wasn't in coverage, but they found the one time that they left him on the field too long and they exposed it. I think that they're going to figure that out. And you're seeing already Spags blitzing him more because that's what he's right now. That's what he's best at. It's the only thing you can really do. You can get him, I guess, running all the way back with turning his head, whatever you want. I don't care. I hate to see that. But if he's on the field, he should be blitzing pretty much. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Play downhill. He is now very, very specifically a lot like Nick Bolton, that short drops backwards. Yes. But playing downhill is the strength of their games for both of them. And I think that's okay. You just got to use him appropriately, not ask him to do things that he's incapable of. Sucks when you're 32 years old in this league. I guarantee you. Thank you again, Gooch. So tired of watching Frank and his one pass rush move like he's Parkman in Major League. Now listen.
He's got 2.
Willie Mays Hayes. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you, Gooch. I understand. And again, if the rest of the line can lift him now because they're more evenly spread, more power to him. Cole, would you consider Jaron Reed signing a bust? Not at all. I think he's played evenly. Has he been well over it? But he's making I think after the signing, it was like 5.01.
Yeah, that's what I was about to think. His contract isn't huge, so it's not a bust. He's been fine and getting better. So, I mean.
I agree. Josh O'Neill, I agree with you. I think the corners did play well. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Are there too many cooks in the kitchen in regards to the offense? Really just showing that there are multiple play callers and different philosophies. I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Andy Reid or Eric Bieniemy told us anything about play calling, then we could tell you, but we got no clue.
I will tell you this. It felt like that to me against the Giants on the Gore drive. That felt like Bieniemy all day long.
Yeah, that did. And it's been – there are sometimes you can feel like it, and that's more of a feel, but I haven't felt like that since that drive.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. We'll know at some point. We'll pass it on to you when we do. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Keys. And yes, you'll say hi to Dan here in a second, I'm sure. Stack Bundles, welcome back. Any news on the Yang? It was listed as a rib injury. I have not heard any update yet. We should find that out on Wednesday, you guys. That's the normal day. Do we keep Hardman if we get OBJ? Yeah, they're not doing anything with him. Hardman will be on this roster next year as well because he's on a rookie contract. He's cheap as sin.
Yep.
Gucho, I forgot. Hey, all right. We
Appreciate
reminded
it.
him.
Appreciate it.
Cody, we need another wide receiver. Odell fits that mold. It's a reason we had Sammy. Tyreek is not a real number one, not a real route runner.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I can understand you wanting to add another receiver to make it like impossible to double, but Tyreek Hill runs some of the best routes in this league. They're just unconventional. He doesn't run that stick out or, the skinny post like you expect him to. By the way, skinny post is an underrated route against two high safeties. Expect them to get back to that at some point.
I expect them to get back to a lot of things that they're not doing. So
don't say. Holly, I hope you're feeling better. Welcome back.
I do too. I'm trying to get there too, so I feel you.
Everybody give Holly some love. Car accidents are hard to deal with, especially when they affect your back and that kind of stuff. I hope you're feeling all right, Miss Holly. Rasta, can we get some love for Chris Lamons? We should have 2 punt recoveries. Yeah, him and Marcus Kemp were on fire last night.
Man, he just behind his helmet, man. Just behind his helmet. Almost at it.
Brett, I do think that if they can get the kind of pass rush they got last night, and again, that wasn't the best offensive line in the league, but they got that. It protects the back, and that as a whole allows the defense to keep teams under 20. All I need from this defense is to be middle of the road and keep teams under 20. That's what I need, and they win.
Yep, that's it.
That'll be it. Let's see. WW. Will Noddy be back this year? Sorry, I missed that one. I do expect him to re-sign him really easily.
Should be pretty cheap, and he's a great run defender. So, there's no reason.
Yeah. A lot of people still asking about Sorensen. Guys, we don't know why other than Spags is loyal, and I think that's what it comes down to. And no, Spags does not watch this channel. He's never heard me say a word.
Yeah, right.
So don't blame me. Brett, do you think Mahomes' accuracy is due to the toe or Jones his mechanics? His mechanics are the same as they've always been. I think I don't necessarily think it's the toe, but something's bothering him, in my opinion. I just don't know that.
Yeah, I feel like confidence is too, and just not having it there does things to your brain and your arm, and maybe he's a tad late on some of these throws.
Frey, who is the guy playing quarterback for the Chiefs? Legit terrible.
Yeah, he's hitting the roughest patch of his career, and typically that happens early on in your career. And right now he's having it right now. He's 26 years old. I mean, it's funny. We have gotten so used to Mahomes being the best quarterback in the NFL that he's having the worst 3-game stretch of his career, and everyone's calling him broken and talking about how he's never going to get back to normal. You think that he's never going to get back to normal? He's 26 years old. Like, he's got more than 10 years left to play in the league. And
he's got 15 just to be close to Brady. Just to be in the same decade as Brady.
Like, he's just never gonna get better. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Madman, they do not draft a starting left tackle in 2022. I think they will sign Orlando. Honestly, I think this is working out okay because I don't think Orlando's going to be a $25 million tackle. I think you're going to get him for a decent discount there. But I will say, I'll bet you they take a day 3 guy that they feel has athletic upside and they can grow into it in case something doesn't work out with Orlando long term.
Yeah. Their calling card: athletic guys with upside in day 3.
Yep, that's going to be it. It's like we've been down this road before, folks.
Almost.
Callie, they look terrible running the ball in the heavy goal line formations.
Yeah.
I mean, it did not look as good as the week before when you thought you had a little bit more misdirection, right? Like when it was dedicated down and they knew it was coming, they didn't get off the ball as well. Now I wasn't in the stadium. Was it raining?
No.
Okay.
It was windy, but it wasn't raining. And Wiley at right tackle in the goal line is not exactly what you want.
No, that's a drawback. And Sean, you have a very good point. Like, I think it was Bobby Stoop that was saying, "Hey, this should be an eye back type team right now." I think they have grossly underutilized Mike Burton and Noah Gray as H's, not necessarily as fullbacks, but as H's. And I think that they get back to that, they'll run more successfully.
Did they even run power on the goal line? I don't remember them running like any counter.
They did.
Or pulling anybody.
They did one when Tooney came across the formation and Darryl did not get the yard that he needed. And again, I think that's anticipation. They jumped. Somebody penetrated really well. I can't remember who it was, but kind of blew up that play. And that's the problem, especially with power. when you got guys pulling it and somebody gets penetration, you either have to knock their block off to reopen the hole or they make the play.
They should also change the snap count a little bit on the goal
True.
line anyway, which is something I don't think they've ever done.
Yeah. Kevin, I guess I missed it last week, but what I was told today from the beat reporters is that Andy mentioned it last week that it could be another couple of weeks in terms of his recovery. So we're just in a waiting game. Lego, at this moment in time, do y'all think that Chad Henne can put up about the same numbers as a flustered Patrick Mahomes?
I will tell you this right now. If Chad Henne's the quarterback, things change because defenses aren't going to do the same thing because they don't think Mahomes, Chad Henne can't do what Mahomes does. So you're not going to get those two high things. So what would happen is Chad Henne would have like a 300-yard game with 2 touchdowns, and people would be like, hold the phone, just because they would change the defense up a little bit. Like that's
if you had to make a chance due to injury, I think Chad can get it done.
Yeah.
But if teams have a chance to prepare for him, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, people.
Yeah.
PM 15. I may have to do a members video because I can't cuss on this one. It's ridiculous to think that you're going to get an improvement out of Chad Henne. I know you're frustrated with the way that Patrick's playing. Patrick's frustrated as well.
Yeah.
It's not an upgrade to put your backup in over him. G'day, Alan. I like that. I just had to practice. Sorry.
Okay, man.
Okay, got your last one, Frey. Gooch did a breakdown on Hardman and Huddle Talk. Okay, good. I'm glad. Is that coming or is that last week? Gooch, hit me again here in another comment. Lego, would it be worth unpredictably play Henne? No. Just no. It's not unpredictable. It's 8-yard ins. It's maybe a slant, and it's running the ball if you have Chad Henne in there. You cannot do the things that Patrick can do. You can't run the overs. You can't run those drags at 14 yards. He's not going to hit them correctly. It limits the offense. Don't let's distract you from the fact that the Jags beat the Bills. You're right. You're very right, Reddy. It's crazy, though, because the AFC is so up in the air. The Chiefs could literally go back to the Super Bowl. They certainly can, and I told you the guys that when they started losing.
Like, there's one team that has only 2 losses. Everyone else has more than 2 losses in the AFC. The Titans are 6-2.
So are the Bills.
Bills are 5-3.
No, serious?
They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Steelers. They just lost to the Jags. Everybody outside of the Titans has 3 losses or more in the AFC.
Oh no, Baltimore won 2.
Oh, Baltimore 2. So you have 2, but still 2 teams.
Yeah, that's within striking distance easily.
And everyone in the AFC West has 5 wins. Everyone. Yep. Like, it's ridiculous.
Kenneth, thank you. And thank you for your super chats last night. We appreciate the support. Does Orlando Brown deserve an extension? Do they look the same or look somewhere else in the offseason? I don't think you're going to upgrade in the offseason. And like I said, I think they will sign him, but I think it'll be discounted. And I think that's good for the team long term.
Yeah, I think you can expect some marketed improvement going over the course of the rest of the season. And as he continues to play for the Chiefs. So if you get him cheaper, then.
Yeah, I'm with you. William, thank you. We appreciate it. Thoughts on the remaining schedule? Can the Chiefs make a wild card or better spot in the postseason? They can win the West.
Yeah, they can win the West.
Easily within grasp. All you got to do is beat the Chargers. I heard some talking head last night, talking about how there's no way the Chargers have this division. You are sadly mistaken, people. I don't know what y'all get paid for at the national level, but you're doing it wrong.
Did you watch the Eagles almost beat them? Did you guys watch that?
Right? Oh. Frey does not think that Mahomes looks like himself at all. Yeah. Also saw the answer about Harbin play whilst he had Kelsey was wide. It's arrogant. It's not arrogance. He didn't think that he was going to, thread a needle or something. They're trying to get the spark. They're trying to kick the thing off. And they feel because they're so used to these gigantic plays, if they get one, it's going to light up the whole offense. And so Patrick took a calculated risk. And honestly, if he had let it better to the outside, Hardman wouldn't have been able to run under it.
I was about to say, I understand it if Mahomes wants to throw that farther to Hardman's right. I get it. But he threw it upfield into the safety. That's where I don't like the throw. And when you're going to throw it there and you have Kelsey down here, you don't make the throw. It's double coverage.
Yeah.
But if you're going to lead him to the right, I can understand taking a calculated risk. That makes a little bit more sense to me. But you have Kelsey wide open. Take the yards and don't throw into double coverage when you don't have to.
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
Well, especially the way that you've been going, especially when you know that you're taking that shot because
Yes,
you're trying to do
exactly.
something special and get a spark, but you see that there's 3 defenders back there. It is a calculated risk, but it is a risk. Just take the shorter one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think now Patrick is like in this mode where Andy's gotten him to settle down, and they're taking what's there for the most part, but he's so waiting for that shot. Whenever he sees like a glimpse of being able to connect something big, he's going to take it, and we're just going to have to live with that. That's my thought. Simon, if Andy were to run the ball more, would it make the passing game much easier? Give Mahomes big chunk plays if he keeps going for it. Am I wrong in thinking that? No, but there's one other caveat. Like running the ball has to affect the defense enough that they change, that they bring that safety down. If they're stubborn, and I did notice a couple of times, even after the Chiefs had run a couple of times, where they were still staying in too high. That's not the time to think that it's going to open up. You got to affect the defense.
It's situational too, because when you're just running into situations where they know you're going to run it, like it doesn't work out for you as well. You have to mix it up a little bit more. I know they did better down the stretch and running more on first downs. And then you start to see them stack the boxes a little bit more for those first down runs. And that's when you can change it up and run true play action and get some of those crossers over the middle. Like they got to start thinking the process out better. They're not doing that outside of the first 15. They're not doing that.
I agree with you. Cole, you're right. The Raiders are in trouble. And quite frankly, the way the offensive line is starting to come together, I'm not that worried about anybody but Crosby on the right tackle.
Yeah.
Assuming that it's Yang and he's not going to be able to play. Daryl, could Mahomes have an injury that isn't being reported and he's still giving him problems? I think it's a possibility. Do you think that that's what's happening, Dan?
It could be. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody in the NFL. They're just saying, I don't make excuses anymore. I just play. And I think Mahomes is kind of like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Caden, you are definitely not wrong. We try to talk about whenever we can up here because we definitely appreciate what he does.
We definitely do. I think Michael, you and I talk about him more than anybody.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm a sucker for fat defensive linemen. What are you going to do? Michael, there's no rift between Mahomes and Kelsey other than they're both pissed off they're not winning. I don't think that friendship's been taxed or anything like that. They're going to be fine. William Bradley, thank you for the super chat. Why don't the Chiefs use CH the way Pittsburgh used to use Le'Veon Bell? I feel like he could be the third receiver after Kelsey. I agree. And you saw them split out McKinnon more. They should be doing that with Clyde as well. I don't know why they're not. They must see something that they don't like about what he does when he's split out. That's all I can know. But it worked at LSU. He's good with the ball in his hands. He catches well. I don't see why not.
Me either. And it's always been frustrating.
William, thank you.
Thank you, William. Appreciate it. Have fun.
Listen, do me a favor. Go down to that little coffee shop in Kailua, get a nice cup, go out to the beach, and say hello to the sand for me, okay? Like I was just talking about this with the wife 2 days ago about we need to go back to Oahu. So I hope that you're doing well, William. Yeah, and my buddy still lives out there. So Mike, we're gonna be crashing. Do you think EB will still be here? I don't think he should. I think he should be a head coach somewhere. I just don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think he should be.
You don't?
And I don't, and that's not like I don't want him here because I feel like they're stagnant. The offense has hit a little stag, and sometimes you got to change things up. I think you bring in a little bit different ideas, and maybe Kafka can inject a little bit more. I think Bieniemy 100% deserves a head coaching job because of just the kind of person that he is. Whether that's going to be in the NFL or in college, we're going to come to see. But I don't think he'll be here next year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for him. I agree. He should have something.
I hope so.
Scott, Andy hasn't gotten rid of the slants. He doesn't call them that much. And a slant is a good one against cover 2 man. But if they're in straight cover 2 where the corners are dropping into zones, it doesn't work quite as well. And really in the cover 2, you either want to hit the outside corners or they're intermediate middle. So
that's something that I haven't seen a whole lot of either. They're not running any corner routes, like nothing. Yeah.
Well, skinny posts and maybe a double move into the corner route. That'll work. Those long drags work, especially when you have the safeties that are peeling back at the snap because of the home strength. There are ways to attack it. I think last night was the first night we saw him have time, I think, to really pick it apart. And that's why I feel like it's starting to come together. Maybe I'm wrong,
me too.
But
I thought they did some out routes too, which I liked. They did a couple more out routes and quick outs, which is how you need to attack some of these cover 2 guys, especially with they're playing very aggressive underneath. And if you can get some of those out routes a little bit longer down the field, you're going to start to make them have to back up more. And then you can actually attack with sail routes, the sail concepts. They're not doing a whole lot of either. So they got to start getting back into that.
When they're just sitting back there in the two, like, you got to do something to move them. You have to affect them.
Yeah.
You can't wait for them to change. Caden, do you think that Andy knew he needed to adjust the overcomplicated play calling, and it might be another reason Mahomes has been struggling? No. Mahomes and the offense has no problem with the play calls.
No.
The defense has problems with the play calls. Spags needed to simplify. In fact, if you guys missed it, and I'll just say this, I don't generally endorse other podcasts, but go listen to the Athletic podcast.
Yes,
from last week with Mitch. Mitch Schwartz goes on every Wednesday.
Oh man, it was the Thursday episode last week, but that was
was it? Okay.
It was great.
And he lays it out. You guys got to go listen to that, because that's what it's like in a number of different perspectives to be a player in this league. And I think that was probably the best thing I've heard on a podcast outside of my own voice in a year.
I love listening to Nate Tice and Robert Mays talk anyway, but adding Mitch's firsthand experience, that was an incredibly insightful episode, and I loved every second of it. I think you guys will too. It was great.
Lego, I don't think last night is going to show them anything, and they're not playing players because of popularity. They're playing players because of trust. It has nothing to do with popularity. Steve Spagnuolo probably hasn't turned on a TV all season. He has no idea what's popular with the fan base. He couldn't care less. He thinks that he has guys in Neiman and Sorensen that he can trust to do the defense and cover his butt when he's sending guys, and the defense is always vulnerable when you're blitzing. That's just the way it is. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Off there, didn't I?
No, you're fine.
All right. Mike, with the balance with Mahomes staying in the pocket and scrambling out, he seems more comfortable playing backyard football when needed. Yeah, it's been his MO his entire career. Go watch Texas Tech for 5 seconds and you can see it.
If you guys watched his first 3 years in Kansas City, that's what he did best. Like, the RPOs have worked for him, but teams are taking the RPOs away. And now his most comfortable aspect is getting outside the pocket and making a play downfield, and they're taking that away too. So he's pushing a little bit. He's not as comfortable because he's never been forced to play as a pocket quarterback. You're seeing growing pains from a quarterback who's never been forced to do this. So that was always going to happen, and now you're just seeing it play out firsthand, and no one's happy with it, and I'm not happy with it either. I won't lie. Like, I'm not happy with it either.
Well, and in the Big 12, where he played in college, no one was disciplined enough to do it.
Yeah.
So we never really had to deal with it. It is what it is. Jason, good point. I think a fight is in it. I don't know if it's going to be a dogfight, because I feel like with all the distractions around the Raiders and the fact that they're going to get up for this game, the Chiefs are going to get up from, these teams don't like each other.
No.
But without Gruden, I feel like they're relying on some things that I don't think are able to keep up longevity-wise. Kenny Drake is not going to be able to run all over this team, right? I don't trust Carr to make the decisions that he seems to have been making the last year or two. And I think at the end of the day, this is a team that the Chiefs will be emotionally so high for. I feel like they can bust out of their rut. I look for an explosion myself.
I would love to have your level of confidence, but we all know that one defense has given the Mahomes some issues even before this year, and that was Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley is the defensive coordinator in Las Vegas now, so he already knows the things that made Mahomes uncomfortable early, and now they have more stuff to work with that has made him uncomfortable now. I think it's going to be close, low scoring like it's been the last 3 weeks.
Okay. We will find out.
I mean, though.
I'm not talking 2 30-point outputs, but I don't think it's going to be low like this. I think it'll be out of it.
I'm hoping they can score 20 in this game.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm hoping.
All right. You'll see our predictions later in the week, folks. Scott, I think I've said a win is a win twice so far, so that's 3.
None
I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you to the over, bro.
I saw that tweet, Scott. I made sure not to say it.
Dan's confounding me. Daryl, Gore got 2 carries in the game. Hartman screws up all the time. What's up with that? And we need to feed him the ball more. It's just BS. I agree. I think you need to give more carries to Gore. I think he's earned it. But it's also that he has a competent player in Daryl in front of him. And you don't have anything beyond Tyreek Hill in front of Hardman, at least not in their eyes. Would I play Pringle more? Yes. Would I would literally have 10 plays called up for Josh Gordon just to see if you can get him going.
Yeah.
and find out what you really have. But that's not how they feel.
I think they need to take a break from these first reads to Kelsey and Hill. Everyone knows it's coming. Get some first reads to Gordon and to Pringle. Get their confidence up too, because right now they don't feel like you have any confidence in them. So they're just like, what are they supposed to do, man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm frustrated.
I get you. Brett, I don't think Blythe is ever going to play unless somebody's hurt. Yeah, some of the motion stuff, Rasta, it's a little frustrating, but they got to do something to loosen things up. So we'll see what happens. Simon, did you know that QBs have almost a perfect passer rating against? Yes, we know. We're sorry. We're sorry to confirm that. Mike Daniel, Mahomes has the yips.
You're not wrong.
I think he did. I don't know that he does anymore. I feel like he's coming out of it. He didn't throw any stupid interceptions last night. I feel that is a step forward on the yips myself.
It is, but he still has them. I still think he's making poor decisions.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then when he made the good decisions, people would drop the ball. So it's just like
right, exactly. Like you got to put it all together. Alan, very good question. I'm frustrated by it. The fact that you spent a draft pick of that caliber on him, and you spent all the time in OTAs, and you spent camp trying to get him up to speed, and he's not in the ball game. I don't care if he's learned the offense. I don't care if you have to tell him to run an 8-yard drag over and over and over. He's athletic enough, and he catches the ball well enough that he should be in the game and making you something. I'm furious about it, to tell you the truth. That's going to be one of my offseason rants about how this team needs to draft better. Big Chief Sean.
What's up, man?
You guys got to check out his channel as well. Sean, put it in the chat so everybody can find it. Well as check out his pregame videos. We're trying to get those on every week so you guys get a flavor of what Sean's doing in the parking lot. Could you give our defensive effort a grade? I think the effort was very good. Yeah. I mean, you want to do numbers or letters?
I do letters. Some letter
what do you
grades. I got a B+ on the effort this week. Like that was a really good effort.
I'll tell you this. I'll give it an A for effort.
Yeah,
the execution wasn't there, but I thought everybody played hard. I mean, even down to like Hitch was getting blown up, but he was playing hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like the effort portion I thought was completely there. Again, Spags did what he did, and he tried to go with what he knows, and he took Nick Bolton out of his position. Nick got exposed again, trying to play wide, trying to play fast. If he just left him in the middle, he would have been perfectly fine. They will get there eventually. Probably won't have it till the offseason, so you're going to hear a speech about it. It's all about the timeline. Sean, thank you. Make sure everybody go follow Sean on his channel as well. He's doing great work for us, but he has his own stuff as well. You guys need to see it. Can Willie Gay and Nick Bolton be the next Bowman and Willis? No.
And that's not like
you don't want him to be. Navarro got hurt.
Oh, Navarro, year
4. I can't remember. He got hurt pretty significantly.
Yeah, I mean,
and Willis was a freaking monster. Willis was a modern day Mike Singletary that could cover.
I mean, the athletic profile from Willie's there, but I don't know if the mental aspect will ever get there.
Agree. And he doesn't attack downhill as well as Willis. He never will. And yet he's still their best guy attacking downhill.
Yes.
At least in terms of contact with linemen, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, he can get off block.
Yeah. Dan, thank you. Bro, Kenny Creek, appreciate that. And Reverend Harms, I like that.
We might have to. Why do I get called Reverend?
Probably Reverend Harms Heat, another band that we've opened.
Oh, maybe.
In fact, you guys, if you're in Colorado, I just signed the band to a couple of shows this summer. We're going to be at the State Fair. We're going to be at the Park County Fair. We're going to be at Crested Butte at a music festival. We're going to be all over the place. So don't shake your head. I got to play.
No, I love it. I think that's great.
Dan's like, I'm going to be doing more videos while you're playing music.
No, I was shaking my head reading questions in the comments, not shaking my head at you.
Okay, gotcha. Besides the obvious, Sorensen and Neiman, what are the 3 things that you could do immediately? I assume you mean for the defense. What would you like to see done?
I mean, I would put Nick Bolton at Mike, make Hitchens your will. Mm-hmm. Actually, I would make Hitchens the Sam and have Willie be the Will, because that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Defensively, I mean, run more actual stunts, like real stunts, and they don't do it a whole lot. And I think they need to do it more. And then I would run. They're doing a little bit more of it, but more simulated pressure with the linebackers. Like Willie is doing a good job getting in there. I think that on rundowns that turn into passing situations, it gets them in better positions, because then you're bailing out already. And quarterback's like, oh, whoa, I thought he was coming. I like seeing more of the simulated pressures. I thought it's been contributing to their success, and I want to see a little bit more.
I agree, but not with the DBs.
No.
I would immediately remove all the simulated pressure, all the sugaring that the DBs do.
Yeah.
Safeties need, you know what you need to do? Show them cover 2. Show them too high and move and let the corners every now and then just backpedal. Give me a little cover 3 mixed in. Give them something they're not expecting.
They run no cover 3 ever.
And I'd rather play man every down if it were my choice, but they're not performing well enough to do that.
No.
But if you mix in a little stuff, you just got to change it up. And it's not just showing them pressure and then backing them all the way out. And quite frankly, I want to see Rashad Fenton blitz more. That'd be another one that I'd do right now. Frey, thank you. Canadian too. I didn't notice that before. Everyone keeps saying they should run the ball. Honestly, I don't think Andy knows how to design a run game. He certainly does. They're getting 5+ yards a carry. He just doesn't like to do it.
No.
It's not a problem with the design. It is a problem in the red zone and goal line. They're not blowing off the ball very well.
Yeah, they're getting
in general, 20-20, they run the ball well. I think they're number 7 in terms of yards per carry in the league.
Yeah, they are. They're one of the best run yards per carry or rushing successes per down in the league, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm with you. Coming in Keys and I spot. Think you will find interesting. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So be on the lookout. Roguehead Huddle on Fridays from Stevie and Keys. You guys don't miss that one. Low lit fans are just scared we'll never see the old Patrick again. You will.
I get that.
He's got to make them get out of it, though. They're testing him now because he's not picking them apart. When he starts to just settle down and take what they give, it will make them get out of it. For those same reasons that I just mentioned. If Patrick can take and beat the cover 2, even if it's 4 or 6, that shell, you don't have to necessarily stay in it. But when he proves he can throw into it and take care of it, then they can't stay in it forever. Then they have to mix it up, just like we were just talking about Spags. So have you looked at Alabama linebacker Henry Tutu? I don't know how to say his name. Yeah, nobody says it right on the broadcast. Don't listen to them either. I have a Polynesian friend. I will ask him. I have seen him live. I have not done film on him at all. Have you, Dan?
Nope.
Okay.
Trying to get to more film. I haven't watched much Alabama this year.
Okay, that's all right. I don't think you have to. If you guys only watch one college game a weekend, watch Georgia, for the love of God. There will be a Georgia dog on this defense next year.
You should hope so.
The other thing is Henry is how old is Henny? Henny's 38, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right about that.
Michael, I heard Pat direct the halfback to run middle when handing him the ball. Is that something that all QBs do? No, not unless they see something dramatic about where they think the bubble's going to be. And there's a bubble in every run fit defense. And if they see something that indicates that they're either slanting or the linebacker's going to attack a different gap, then they might let the running back know.
I didn't hear that. So
yeah, I didn't hear it at the time either. Here, Stevie, thank you, sir. What do you got for Dan? Oh, it's another Wiley question. Never mind. I'll take it.
All right.
Dan doesn't want to talk about Wiley.
No, I don't. I really don't.
As bad as he was at right tackle yesterday, the idea of him at left tackle is something. If something happened to Brown, what are they thinking? I have no idea. This all comes back to Remmers not being healthy.
Yeah.
Ideally, they want Remmers to be the swing. I fear for Mike Remmers' health. I'll just put it that way. They need him to be available. They don't need him to start. They need him to be available.
He has to be the swing tackle.
And I think Lucas is going to be okay. He played through a hip injury in college that would have shut down most people's seasons.
Yeah.
His coaching staff made him go away from that. So I think he's going to be all right. Let's see. A lot of jump ball questions. Yeah, I don't like the jump passes so much. I think that's bailing it out and not in a good way. Brett, do you think that the key to change the offense would be more horizontal than vertical? I think there have to be aspects of both. I don't think you can go in any one direction at once. Do you, Dan?
They can't do that especially with like cover 2 and cover 3. If you just attack horizontally, it just allows them to continuously pass guys off. That's why you have to run some 4 verticals every now and then.
Settle.
You have to run some mesh concepts with the sails attached to it. You have to be able to get both and attack the corners. They don't attack the corners of the defense and the sidelines very well at all. So you see Aaron Rodgers throw back shoulder throws all the time on the outside. You never see the Chiefs do that, like ever.
Yeah.
You can attack cover two that way too, because you're going to have the corner pass them off to the safety. If you throw it on a back shoulder in between them, you should find a little bit of room, but they don't do that. So it's just a lot of different things you got to do.
Yeah. It's got to be constantly evolving because defensive coordinators catch on as well. Big Jack, appreciate the support. Yeah, and that's my expectation too, is he'll get a contract and it's going to be 3 or 4 years is my thought. Beyond that, I mean, quite frankly, I think he needs to get in a little bit better shape.
A little bit.
I think he got heavy there in this last offseason and came a little unprepared. I'm hoping that will help as well. We'll have a look at it. I'll tell you that. Rasta, I think Honey Badger looked a lot better. I think he's going to get some ints soon. Yeah.
Should have had one yesterday. Man, I
have.
can't believe that didn't. And then he ended up catching the ball. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's due. And I hope that he uses this negativity that he seems to foster against the fan base, even when they're trying to compliment him. I think he's got to use that internally and just shut up and stay off social media myself.
We'll see.
That's what I'd be telling him. JPF, no, they shouldn't have gone after Marlon Mack. I don't think he gives you enough of a change from what Gore and Williams are. It'd just be another guy the same.
I was about to say Gore is Marlon Mack just without being able to pass protect.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, nothing on Niang. We'll get an update when they get back to practice on Wednesday, you guys. Scott, I think they probably have a decent plan. They know the Raiders. Raiders a little less predictable without Gruden, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, in the way one. That's what I was saying. Get in the way one, way back one. Did you notice the only touchdowns given up? Hi, hon. The last 2 games, it was Sorensen Neiman. Yes, we are painfully aware that who's getting attacked. In fact, I joked about it. If you guys missed the video with Tom Grossi over the weekend, he literally, we got to the point where like, just, for Jordan Love to have a successful day, he just needs to find 4-9. Night. I forgot she can't hear you. I'm just yelling in your ear. Sorry,
yeah, no, it's fine. She likes to look at what's going on.
Well, that's good. Do you see that the Raiders released Damon Arnett? They're falling apart. They definitely are, and Arnett is a piece of work to begin with. So can't say I'm surprised by that. But no, guys, you don't want anybody off the Raiders roster. I'll just tell you that.
Trust me,
for anybody even suggest it. Jimmy, how are you? Will PM ever get it about running the football? No, it's just a pill that we're going to have to swallow. That's my thought. Do you think he'll ever be like, oh, I should run the ball here?
Honestly, I think he's going to have to at some point.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the way this is going. If their offense is going to adjust some of the routes they're running, they have to be able to run a bit more. I think Clyde will help bring some of that to it because he had 200-yard rushing games in the season already. I think you can bring a little bit more of that with him back, and that will open up some stuff. But I mean,
yeah, they
have to commit to something. You have to.
I agree with you. Sean, let's hope that Noah Gray is going to be their secret weapon down the stretch. I don't know. That's where I have to hold out hope right now. Screens were getting called out, Varian. They were not running them successfully, so you got to take them out of the game plan for a while. Sean, Ingram got as much pressure as Frank did in half the snaps. Well, 55% of the snaps. So I think it was a significant contribution. Chef Boy, haven't seen you lately. Welcome. Why not let Dorian play over Ben Neiman? Because the few times Dorian has played, in my recollection, in 19, he was drastically out of position a couple of times and got burnt. And I think there's a disconnect of trust about understanding where to be and how to adapt, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep. Okay. They don't want to play him because they don't trust him.
That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? Let's see. Let's try this one. I'm wondering when you guys will think they will make some of these changes after the bye week. Do you think that's the magic?
I mean, if they're waiting for the bye, then there's already a problem, in my opinion. Like, you got to have some answers to the stuff, considering defensive coordinators giving you different answers every single week. You got to be able to bring up some stuff every single week. You can't just wait for a bye week to say, "Oh, we'll figure it out then." You got to do it in season.
I agree. Brad, thanks for the question. Hope
Yeah,
sister's
man, thank
doing
you.
well. Say hi. Sean, Orlando run struggles being masked somewhat by Tooney. Seems like speed and the edge is killing us around both edges. Speed is a little bit of an issue, but Tooney's not helping him with speed. That's the thing, is it takes him away from Tooney. So that's not the help. But I also think that Orlando's getting a little bit more comfortable, and hopefully by the end of the year he'll be settled in.
Granted, the Packers aren't exactly the best
speed rush. Yeah,
speed rush. You got Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary at defensive end yesterday. Those guys are not exactly speed demons. So
yeah, and Old Michigan knows Rashawn Gary's not speed.
I mean, he's a really good player, but he's not going to be,
yeah, he's not speed off the ball.
Get off guy.
It is what it is.
Preston
Chris,
Smith
thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. It's a couple nights in a row. Good to see you. If we're being critical of Frank Clark, let's look at the fact that the guy he replaced, D. Ford, has barely been playing. You're absolutely right. People want to talk about the value that you had to give up to get him. D. Ford's buried on the roster. Like, I don't think he's playing right now.
He's still hurt, I think.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the story of life for D. Ford. So good for D for having a career and getting a couple of sizable contracts. And, we can leave it at that. Let's have pleasant thoughts about D. Ford, and I think about the last time he jumped off sides.
They'll say, why should I have pleasant thoughts, man?
I'm trying to be like good for my karma.
I understand that. That makes sense.
Red, how do you do all the things that you do? RG, all the broadcast work that you do, a full-time job, family, and beer channel. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy doing stuff, and I probably do too much. The band is like pissed that I'm doing so much football stuff because they're like, can we get back to playing more, please? Now that the world is open again. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, the band's going to be like, we're going to need some time back. So we'll see what happens. I've been on stage for 20 years. So like, it's a little bit of, this is newer too. So Simon, this may be a hot take, but I don't think we should re-sign Tyron and obviously get rid of Dan. I think we need to draft secondary. Where are you at on Tyron, Dan?
Yeah. I'm bringing him back if the door's open. If that door is open, I will gladly re-sign Tyron Matthew. I think he and Juan Thornhill have shown you over the last 4 games they've started together, that they're a very good safety duo, and they can get even better, and they've been getting better. You're seeing him being able to attack more because he has Juan Thornhill out there. So they complement each other very well. And if you don't bring it back, you're going to have to draft a replacement for him to bring in the complement that is to Juan Thornhill. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, and they need depth. They need somebody who can step in there eventually as well. It just, there's a couple other higher needs. I mean, Travaris is probably gone after this year, you guys, and you saw what a difference he made, right? Like, and you guys know that I've been blatantly honest about Travaris Ward since he came to this roster. He's a number 2 corner. And right now, you saw what having your number 1 in Snead and not having your number 2 did to this defense.
Yeah.
So it is significant. Michael, thank you for your comment, as well as being a member, folks. This little S thing means that you're a member of the channel. If you want to join us, get it in the Discord, go ahead and click that join underneath Dan, and make sure you enroll at the rookie level or above. Why are we not seeing jump balls in the end zone when inside the red zone? It's an Andy thing. He doesn't like it. He's never done it.
I was about to say, you guys
T.O.'s the last jump ball I saw out of an Andy Reid quarterback. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, there's been a couple. I've seen Henny do it once. I've seen Mahomes do it a couple different times, but typically this is just Andy Reid, guys. He's never done it. And they had Chris. I've always go back to it. Chris Conley. They had him on this team for 4 years, and they said, the one thing you're really, really good at, we are not going to use.
Right. The best leaper in the history of the combine, folks.
Ever. Ever. And they said, nah.
Folks, we are over the hour. We're going to hit the super chats, and we're going to call it a night because I think we're into the point where we're going over topics for folks that join later, whatever. Miss Holly, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Sorry, the chat, Stevie and Jimmy's, has been distracting me. Can you repeat when your Raiders prediction is coming out? Any 30-second feedback on the matchup? Let's see. I'll have the actual prediction in the Locked On Chiefs show on Friday. And I will definitely do a little like if you guys missed it, I started doing. They just opened up shorts for this channel. You have to like earn the ability to do shorts on here. So I just started playing with that over this weekend. I'll probably do some more of those. So keep an eye out on the feed and just check that. I don't know that you get notifications for it, but those little 30-second hitters will be kind of what I'm using that for. And we'll just see what it comes out to. 30-second feedback on the matchup. It is about not being too worried about what the Raiders are and being what you are. I will tell you this. If they try to match up Dan Sorensen on Brian Edwards, they're going to be sorely mistaken about what they're doing. Edwards was running a lot out of the slot until like 2 weeks ago. Now they put him out wide. The wide corners can take care of it. So can Sneeder Fenton or whoever's in the nickel. But if they try to put a safety on him, it's going to be trouble. And I like Edwards' game. I think the Chiefs are well in hand, and I expect them to win this game. Varian, yes, Melvin, and I think walked in and played up to expectations. For me, Dan, were you hoping for more or expecting more?
Of who? I'm sorry.
Melvin.
Oh yeah, he played exactly the way I thought he played early on in the season for the Steelers, showing juice, spin move like you said yesterday. He's got it. It's all there, and he's going to be an asset to this defense.
Yeah. Steven, who was playing middle, Nick had some of it, but so did Hitch. It looked 50-50-ish to me. I'd have to check their detailed snap counts to make sure, but it should be Bolden all the time.
Yeah.
Yelling in Dan's ears.
Okay, everyone can yell in my ears.
Yay!
I got no
with
issues.
a mic. 55 was for Frank. Way to trigger him, Keys.
That's
I like
funny.
how you guys work. This is fun. William, now that the Raiders have had rugs pulled out from underneath them, oh wow, that was good. Do you think a lack of speed allows them for more exotic blitzes Sunday? I mean, I don't think that was holding them back because they don't seem to care.
But Deshaun Jackson's also a Raider now, so they will have some speed on the field.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I will not run down Dustin Colquitt. I'll just say he is quite a bit older than Thompson, and Thompson had the best night of a punter that I've seen since Colquitt went off in like 2006.
Colquitt is, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame worthy punter. If one of the very first things they ever wrote was an argument as to why he should be in the Hall of Fame, and he really should be. So Townsend had his best performance, probably the best performance punters had all season anywhere. And right now, if you can keep playing like that, then he can rival it. But he's not in the stratosphere of Dustin Colquitt right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Crazy. We'll end with you because I've heard other people ask me today, mostly on social media. But I will say this: Andy Reid is not in the best of health. He has had a knee replacement recently. I understand that's what the cane is for. He clearly has some circulation problems. That's why he wears those compression socks at camp and stuff like that. He's a man in his 60s. I don't know if there's anything more dramatic than that. We won't ever know unless they choose to tell us. That's all confidential health information. But is it contributing to what's going on? I can't say that it is. I mean, he's been dealing with the knee, from what I understand, for like a decade. So
yeah,
I don't think that was different.
I don't know. Right now, everything we're all looking for something. Like we're all looking for something as to why this is happening. And eventually, I don't know when it's going to be. Eventually, they will snap out of it. They will score 35 and put it on somebody, and everyone will forget and go back to what it was. Like that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Folks, that is going to be it for us tonight. I'm going to get to dinner with the family. Dan has a video for you tomorrow. I will probably do the film room on Wednesday, it sounds like. So be prepared.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be succinct. I ramble. It's all right. But yeah, we'll put some time in. We'll be back for the stream on Thursday night with Seth. And then the Roguehead Huddle on Friday. I hope that you guys have a great week. Dan, safe travels.
Thank you.
You're heading north to Michigan, right?
Yeah, I'm going to see my family in Michigan for the week, and I'll be back next week. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate your thoughts. I feel just fine. My voice is just laughing at me and saying we're not going to let you talk. But yeah, I feel fine, so I appreciate the kind words. But we will be back next week. Like I said, you guys will get a video on Tuesday. I'm going to try to get Ryan the film tonight whenever I get it, so he can get it whenever as early as he can. So we should be rolling on that.
Yeah, God knows I need it. Thank you. And for all of our crew, for Aaron Morrow, our fearless mod tonight, for Jeff Porter, for Stevie and Gooch, for Sean, even Thunder, all of us. Dan and I spent a lot of time on camera, but those guys put in a lot of work as well. Thank you from
A
all of us
lot.
for all of the support. We do truly, truly appreciate
Very
it. We couldn't
much.
do it without you guys. These guys would be like, okay, Ryan, I'm out of here. You just do it yourself. But it's going to be what it is. Holly, I hope that you feel better. Red, more for your sis too. You guys have a good week. Dan will talk to you tomorrow. I will talk to you Wednesday. Dan, be good on the road.
I will. I'll be just fine. Don't worry
All right,
about me.
Chiefs Kingdom. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.